Aaliyah. It's crazy to think that she was only 22 years old when she died, but it seems that she was able to do just enough to keep her memory and legacy alive. She was in the industry since she was about 12 years old, and looking at it from a different view, this girl was always around grown men. Not only just working with them, but messing with them as well. Yo, Aaliyah was a fast little girl, man. Damn near a pass around. I know. Y'all don't want to hear the truth about baby girl, but let's discuss. R. Kelly, the most obvious of them all. Aaliyah was first introduced to Kelly at the age of 12 when she was signed to Jive Records, and her uncle Barry Hankerson was R. Kelly's manager at the time. Wanting to get her career started, he paired her up with Kelly, who was going to be creative mind behind her debut album, because Kelly wrote, performed vocals, and even named the album titled Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. So basically his handprint is all over the album. And in the midst of them working on an album, both of them had fell in love and 3 years later got married in Illinois when Aaliyah was now 15 years old and Kelly was 27 at the time. Now there's two conflicting stories of how this happened. One is that Aaliyah's parents knew of them getting married and didn't mind it because they were getting paid. And two is that Kelly and Aaliyah got married quietly, and when the parents found out, they quickly got the marriage annulled and signed an NDA to never speak on it because they were getting paid. In my opinion, the parents knew about it and was getting paid under the table, but when things hit the fan, now the mom is acting like she never knew about it to save herself. But that's my opinion. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. But once again, Aaliyah was 15 and Kelly was 27 when they got married. Ghostface Killah. I'm like, Ghostface Killah? But this is one of her relationships that never gets talked about, but apparently they were a thing. According to his Wu-Tang group member Raekwon, he admits to catching Ghostface and Aaliyah sleeping on a couch passed out.
You and Ghost were talking one day and he had mentioned he got with Aaliyah.
Yeah, he broke my heart with that, man, cause rest in peace Aaliyah. Aaliyah is beautiful, word. Ghost had bagged her, you know what I'm saying? And I remember we had a mansion in LA, and I used to talk to Ghost a lot about yo, word, you bagged that? Like, yo, bring it to the lab, bring some friends over, whatever the case may be. And one day I guess I took a nap that day and I was walking through the crib. Next thing you know, I seen him and Aaliyah sleep in the chair. I'm like, I wake him up, yo, what's up? What's going on? He was like, nah, I'm just catching some rest though, I was just laughing. I'm like, yo, you a wild cat, man. They were just sitting in the chair together, just laid out. Like, I was like, wow, word. But nah, he respected Aaliyah.
And I tried to do some digging, but there's really not much out there about them too. No photos and no videos. But do remember, this was the late 90s, early 2000s. But we do have a human confession from Raekwon who is credible. And I tried to look up the age they would have been dating, but nothing came up. So I looked up Ghostface's age, and he's 54 years old, 1 year younger than Jay-Z. And Aaliyah would have been 45 today. So between she and Ghost is a 9-year difference. So that means they could have dated when she was between 18 to 19, cause Jay and Dame dated her at 20 and 21. Very, very interesting. Static Major. Even though he doesn't belong on the list because we're talking about her dating older men, but this is another relationship of hers I didn't know about, and probably because it was so early and didn't last long. But this made more sense because the age gap between them wasn't a concern. She was 17, 18 at the time and he was 22. And it also made sense because he was always around her, helping her to write some of her biggest hits like Try Again, Are You That Somebody, Rock the Boat, and many, many more. This was even confirmed by Static Major's mom, who said in the book, they were definitely an item. Aaliyah was crazy about him. He brought Aaliyah to my wedding and that was a big deal because her parents didn't let her go places. And for those who don't know Static Major, one of his biggest or most famous songs he did was with Lil Wayne, Lollipop, which Static was featured on the song and also wrote the hook. Timberland. Him and Aaliyah never had a romantic relationship, but Timberland does admit to falling in love with Aaliyah knowing that she was very young. He also adds that because he knew she was young, he was fighting hard not to kick it to her. Timberland was fighting his inner demons and also admits that he was much older and decided to make this a big brother little sister level. Very, very interesting. Who knows if he actually attempted behind the scenes and she probably turned him down, but let me not put that on his jacket. But these are his words of him falling in love with the young girl.
First met Aaliyah. It's time for the world to hear this. I'm gonna give up a little secret. I was in love with her. I said, but I'm not, she's just a baby. I'm old. I said to myself, I'm just gonna be her brother. Oh man, I was fighting a big war. But I love Aaliyah.
Jay-Z. There's too many rumors and people confirming that the two dated, and there's too many photos out there to back up all the evidence. At the time they were dating, she was 20 and Jay was 29 at the time. So nothing strange going on here as far as age, but it just goes back to her loving older men. The two were only together for about a year, and around the same time she was also around Dame Dash. You know, everyone hanging around Rockefeller and such, and ended up leaving Jay-Z for Dame Dash, who was 2 years younger than Jay-Z, and Dame was the last person Aaliyah was dating when she died. So Aaliyah was 21 when she started dating Dame, and he was 28 at the time. So nothing strange going on either, but people keep trying it.
I didn't look at her like that because she was like a tomboy. She was little to me. But then one time she was, I guess we had the same bookkeeper, and I walked past, and the thing about Aaliyah was like every time I saw her, she looked different. So she had different looks every time, and I was like, who the fuck is that? And I realized it was Aaliyah, and then I just threw my A game. And then, you know, I guess Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. And then, like, it got brought up, and I was like, fuck both of y'all. But it never worked out for them, and we were both like trying to get at her.
So you and Jay was both getting at Aaliyah. Obviously,
everybody was getting at her. Everybody was getting at Aaliyah, bro.
Right.
She was like, you know, she'll go to dinner with a nigga, but she wasn't going to just be smashing. So that was like the big deal, like who could get with Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
We all put like.
Was he bitter?
Obviously.
But like Dame says, everyone was after Aaliyah. And one thing about her too, she was a fast little girl. I mean, she dealt with so many men in a short period of time. Even going from homie to homie, knowing Jay-Z and Dame were like brothers at the time. Yo, Aaliyah was messy too and not innocent. But people just don't want to hear it. The way she was moving, it could have been much worse today at her rate. Do remember, this was the late 90s, early 2000s, and the age gap of dating was normal. Shit, even before the 90s. Not excusing it, just saying how things was. Even at my high school, you had college dudes or older picking up freshmen and sophomore girls. Your grandmother is probably 20 years younger than your grandfather. Not saying it's right, just saying this was what was going on back then. But yeah, man, what y'all think of Aaliyah's history? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, make sure to hit the like button. Thanks for watching the video. Catch you guys soon.